Yo, what's up guys, Tim here, welcome back to another video. Today we have Uomo by Salvatore Ferragamo, the tiramisu fragrance, the really nice, sweet, gourmand fragrance released in 2016. This, at the time, and even now actually, is the most unique sweet fragrance out on the market right now. Definitely in the top 5 or top 10 most unique sweet fragrance, because this one does not have the sweetness that is akin to like a Paco Rabanne's 1 Million or an Invictus. This one is more gourmandish, more edible, definitely has a lot more of that creative DNA in it. Well, we'll get into the whole scent in a second here, but before that, let's jump right into the notes first. That's on Fragrantica. So on Fragrantica here, we have top notes of black pepper, cardamom, and bergamot, mid notes of sweet notes, orange blossom, and ambroxan, base notes of cashmere wood, sandalwood, and tonka bean. Now this doesn't really have the note of tiramisu listed, but it smells like tiramisu. Like it has a coffee vibe in here mixed with a little bit of a syrupy, kind of cakey, like a cake batter type of sweetness. Oh, it smells fantastic. Now the rest of the notes that are listed in here, the top notes of bergamot and the cardamom, I really don't get that all too much. Maybe in the very initial opening, but after that it really just jumps right into the sweet notes. Now the cake batter kind of vibe, the cakey dessert kind of vibe really comes from the combination of, I would say, cashmere wood and sandalwood, because sandalwood does give off a little bit of a dusty vibe, cashmere as well give it a little bit of a dusty kind of effervescent kind of modernized woodsy vibe, mixed with that tonka bean, which also adds a layer of just kind of a chocolatey type of, again, powdery type of sweetness that creates kind of that cake batter type of vibe. And the sweet notes is really not specified what's inside the sweet notes, but that has a little bit of coffee in it alongside some more gourmandish notes, and altogether it really creates a really nice tiramisu dessert vibe, which to me smells incredible in terms of from an artistic point of view. This fragrance is definitely one of my favorite fragrances to smell personally in the designer world when it comes to gourmands. It just smells absolutely fantastic, but the one problem that it has, I would say, is that this vibe only remains during the opening era. So opening and mid. After the mid, it starts to really dries down to a more generic, I would say, not super generic. You still get that kind of gourmandish kind of sweetness vibe in there, but it becomes a little bit more metallic-y towards the end. And I think that has to do with the ambroxan that's in here. So ambroxan really gives off this kind of metallic-y, warm, modernized, mass appealing vibe to every fragrance that it has. And it has a lot of that inside this one, which you notice a lot more in the dry down. So in the beginning, it kind of loses that unique vibe a little bit. It's still there, but the ambroxan really comes through more strongly to cover that up a little bit. So to me, my favorite part of this fragrance is the opening and the mid, and after that, it kind of just falls apart for me. And that's why on my personal channel, I don't even talk about this fragrance a lot, because to wear it practically, the dry down is so important in fragrances, because that's what you're gonna live with for the majority of your wearing of the fragrance, right? You're only gonna live through the opening and the mid for maybe the first 1 to 3 hours, but after that, it's pretty much the dry down's job to get everything done. And if the dry down really sucks, like to me, this one dry down doesn't really suck, but it is quite disappointing. Hence why I don't wear this one quite as often as I want to, due to the, just the dry down is not so good. Now, who's gonna like this one? I say the person who's gonna like this is gonna be anyone who likes gourmandish fragrance in general. You guys like chocolatey notes, coffee notes. This one is gonna be right up your alley. Sweet notes as well. Anything that comes across more edible, more gourmandish, maybe even niche lovers of gourmand fragrances might like a scent like this in the designer world. So for those of you who like sweeter notes, gourmandish notes, this one is one that I highly recommend you check out. At least for just the opening or the mid, I think you'll be quite happy with this fragrance. Now, the people who are not gonna like this one are gonna be anyone who want a more practical fragrance. This is not a super practical fragrance to wear. It will not get you a lot of compliments. We'll talk more about compliments later, but it's just not too practical, I guess. Like, it's a little bit too sweet. The dry down is not so good. It's just more of a very specific taste type of fragrance, not something that you can grab and go every day, so it's not gonna have a lot of uses for you. So for those reasons, a lot of people who want more practical fragrances are probably not going to like this one. And also, if you don't like sweet fragrance, this one will definitely be too sweet for you. Next, onto the performance of this one. This one is all right. This one I get around 6 to 7 hours at max, and at the low end, I've sometimes gotten 5 hours from this, which is not the best when it comes to a sweet fragrance that's supposed to be used in the fall time. So fall time, winter time, you want a fragrance that at least has a strength of at least 7 hours plus to last. And the projection on this one is good for the fall time, not good enough for the winter time. It really projects well in the opening and the mid, but when it comes to dry down again, that projection really dies down and it becomes a skin scent at around, give or take, 2.5 hour mark. So that's all right for like a maybe a spring scent, but for fall winter scent, not so good. So performance on this one is subpar, and that's also another reason why I don't talk about this one all too much. This one, the charm is really in the opening, the smell, the niche aspect of it, if you want to put it that way. It's more of a novelty, that's a better word. It's more of a novelty type of fragrance to me. Next, we have the versatility of this one. I did mention that it's not the most practical of all scents, so the versatility of this one is low. You're not gonna find a lot of use out of this one, even in the season that you're supposed to give this one wearing, like the fall or winter time. The performance is just not there, and the smell itself is not something that a lot of people are gonna really enjoy off you. It's one that you need to wear with a little bit more of a confidence. It's one that you would wear, I would say, a little bit more for yourself in a way. I don't really see a lot of occasions where you can wear this and pull it off well. It's a little bit too novelty for dates, is a little bit too sweet for office. It's not at all a formal scent. You can make an argument that you can wear this one to the club, but even then I would say the performance doesn't allow it to be. So this fragrance has a lot of potential, as you can see from the reviews so far, but it does fall short in quite a few categories that kind of inhibits it from being a fragrance that a lot of people would love to wear or enjoy. So versatility department, also not so great. Next, we have the compliment factor. I've touched a little bit on this already. This one will not get you the most compliment ever in fragrances, so this one is subpar at best. You might be able to get some compliments from this one if you wear it in the right situation. So maybe the first hour of you going to that club, you may get a compliment. So other than that, it's gonna be hard for this one to get a compliment. And if you overspray this one, you can be sure there's some negative looks coming your way because it is sweet. Like mind-bogglingly sweet at times. If you end up overspraying this one, you will get some negative looks for sure. So in terms of compliments, there's more chances to get negative feedback from this than there are to get compliments, unfortunately, from my testing anyway. So yeah, compliment factor, also not so great. This is sad now. Like I'm talking about this fragrance in this video, it's making it sound like a sad fragrance, but it's really not that sad. I still like the smell of this, it just falls short in a lot of other areas. Next, we have the price, and this is the saving grace of this fragrance. This one, at this bottle, 100 ml, $30. I don't even have to look it up online. I know it from memory because I bought this one. It's $30 for 100 ml. Very cheap. That's in the cheapy type territory. And for a cheapy scent, this is a pretty high quality type of scent for $30 and for 100 ml as well. So for that price, I would say go ahead. If you want something that will diversify your collection, you want something that's a little bit more novelty, you want something a little bit more unique to wear alone, you like gourmand fragrance, you like sweet fragrance, you don't really care what other people think around you, this is good for $30. I'd actually recommend this quite heavily for $30, especially, like I said again, if you want to smell something different. But if you do not want to try this fragrance out blind by $30 because of all the things I've mentioned to you in this video, you can go ahead and try a decant of it on decantboutique.com. I'll leave a link to our website down below. We are a decant store, so we have decants of Uomo, the original Uomo Casual Life, the signature. We have the whole line basically, so you can try out the whole line if you want to. See if it works for you. Of course, this is just my opinion. It really didn't work in my life situation, but it might work for you. So if you want to test that out first before you go ahead and buy a bottle, you can go to our website. I'll leave that link below. All right, guys, that's it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and bye.